but money is the blood for the body of business, right? Like you got to keep it moving. No matter how, even like we was talking about, like when you're on a certain level, you still borrow because you have your cash reserve for the emergency. You want to use the leverage, kind of make the money work for itself or work on you, or if your investments are outperforming.
Welcome back to another episode of Intrepidus Podcast with your hosts, Dan and Anthony. Today's guest, we have Omar with HGRN Capital. Welcome, Omar.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
HR and everything, right?
Well, happy to have you on the show. Tell us a little bit about what you do, Omar.
I have a commercial lending bank, headquarters in the Bronx and Manhattan. I have a New York City-based real estate office, which is going into Massachusetts and Jersey soon. I'm also a real estate investor. I think that's a natural evolution of being involved in in lending and real estate. I'm a tech investor. Modi app. I don't know if you've heard of that. We can talk about that. I'm an author. I wrote a book, Hard Money Lending. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm all those things. I'm
a true entrepreneur in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
So you said bank, though. In bank in a traditional sense, like can I come and deposit money with you?
No, not a depository bank, but a lending bank. Like if you brought me a 6-unit building, I can get you the loan on it. If you brought me an investment condominium, I can do the loan on it. If you brought me a gas station, I get the loan on it. If we do hard money loans, we do commercial loans, we do DSCR loans, all investment property loans. But usually I have the full menu, so I can figure out where you should go. If you want to do an SBA loan, it's a little more paperwork involved, but I'm educated in doing all of them. And I think that's what separates me from most people, because most people get niched into one thing. I've been in the business about 20 years, we talked about off camera, and I've took the time to learn everything, right? Because I thought everything would be useful. Like why not know it? Why, like it's like having that in your toolbox. Like, why not know that? And if not for you, maybe for me, maybe I would want to use it. Maybe I would need it. So that's how I approach the business, and that's how I've come to be where I am now. Like I've taken the time to learn the business, where a lot of people come in to try to make some money, just learn enough to make some money, and then interest rates change, and all of a sudden, the football ring turns into an ice cream ring, and they can't do shit. They're like, yo, I can't do anything. Nobody wants to refinance. What about purchasing? What about estate liquidation? What about rehab? There's so many ways. And the one thing I love about this business is that everybody always needs money. I don't care if you're a billionaire.
True.
You still need money because you want to leverage it. You don't want to use your money.
Or the billionaires are the ones who want to borrow the most because they understand leverage.
Exactly. Like Jay-Z and Beyonce took a $75 million loan on their house in Cali. Everybody's like, oh, they're broke. I was like, nah, they're making a play. They're making a play.
Use other people's money. That's what wealthy people do.
Right.
My son's going to talk to you. He's looking to buy $1 million property right now for his company.
God bless. All right, cool.
He was looking at it last night.
As am I, so I was just trying to talk to you too.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's nothing for $1 million though. Like I was just looking.
He found a nice property, big commercial building in the back, like a 3,000 square foot garage for all his stuff. Has an office and old house in the front. It's a couple acres. It's
really?
Close to here, yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, so
close to here.
And, and it's seller finance, but I'm like, listen, we could probably just work something out either which way. Let's look at our options. But.
Yeah, either which way. If it's seller finance and you show me the terms and I say, yo, that's a great term, take the term, right?
Yeah.
But if not, you won't have to be held hostage by it. Like, yo, I can do this. Right. Yeah.
So let's take it back. I mean, you have all these things going on in your life. Where did your entrepreneurship start? Where did you first get involved in business? Does it run in your family? Like, where did this whole thing start for you?
I'm definitely an outlier in my family. I came from Puerto Rico when I was like 6 months. My mother came not speaking English. My father, he had some issues. He went to Vietnam. He came back with dependency issues, so he wasn't in the life. So what happens is, and this is me talking after I spoke to a therapist for a little bit. You become a parentified child, right? A parentified child basically is simply somebody who kind of steps in as an adult to help. And what I was helping my mother with is not the bills, but rather reading English or going to appointments or talking about taxes at 11, right? Like these are the things I had to learn because she didn't know English. So she was like, mijo, ¿qué esto? And you as the only man in the house, right? Going back into stepping into a situation, who else is there? There's nobody else. So that had become my necessity to become that for her. And then, watching her work from 6 a.m. in the morning till 6 o'clock at night. And I tried that. I tried that when I was in college. I had 2 jobs. At one point I had 3, but I was working in a restaurant on the weekends for cash money. I was working as a doorman during the week. I was a personal trainer. And there's just so many hours in a day you can give you can give away, and then you have nothing, right? You have no time for you. And the numbers I was making, even though they were decent numbers, weren't numbers for me. I don't say that egotistically. It's like, I'm running on this hamster wheel. They got to be another way, bro. Like how, and I think one of the best educations I got when I was working at this building called the Apthorpe on 79th and Broadway, I was an elevator man, and I was brought in to relieve the 32 BJ guys, they're union workers, so they get 8 weeks or 10 weeks of vacation. So these guys would go to their country and stay. So I was in college at the time. I took a semester off. It was a good opportunity. And the people I met there, right? The people I met there was like Nicholas Pileggi, who wrote Goodfellas, Laura Ephron, Sleeps in Seattle, the chairman of American Express, Cyndi Lauper, Rosie. I met all these people. I'm in their elevator. I'm pressing the button. That's my job. Press the button. What floor are you going to? 5? Okay, cool. There's 5 floors, bro. It's not so many, floors. And we were told when I got hired, I was told, hey, listen, you're there to be seen, not heard. You don't talk. Like, let them, whatever they tell you, just press the button, just shut up. But eventually, you're there 8 to 10 weeks. They get familiar with you. They start asking, hey, what do you do? What's this? What's that? And you start thinking, and they start mentioning things that you have never heard about, right? Like different ways of making money, different ways of thinking. And that started opening up my mind. I'm like, wait a minute. And of course, like some guys, I became their personal trainer, right? And making $200 an hour is great at 19, but that's what's the exit for that? Like, how many times, that's me thinking. So one day on a Sunday, I'm in one of the buildings in the basement, and there was one guy. So it was a 4-building development with a circular driveway. So if there was a car in the driveway, you could not pass. So there was one guy, the chairman of American Express. He was able to leave his driver, because he had a driver with the car at all times. For what reason, we don't know. In the driveway, right? So I'm chilling with the guy, black guy. He's like, yo, man. Again, I'm 19. He's like, yo, man, listen, I make about $120 a year. I can get you into this if you want. I could plug you. So I had told him, I said, yo, gratefully, I was like, yo, thanks. I really appreciate that. Let me get back to you. I don't know. I'm in college still. I want to finish that, figure out where that's going. But I'm thinking to myself, yo, how the fuck do I get to the penthouse? How do I become that guy? Like that really inspired me. I was like, yo, how do I get to that? Where I have somebody downstairs 24 hours a day in case I want to go to where are you going? You know what I'm saying? Like, wherever I want to go. Or you want to send them this is before Uber Eats and all that shit. So go get me something to eat. Go, shit like that. And I was like, yo, I want to live like that. Like, not egotistically, but rather, how do you get there? Right. How do you get there? Right. So that became the real inspiration. I mean, look, when I first was in high school, the guys on the corner, driving the Range Rovers, selling drugs, that was inspirational. I was like, wow, that's big. Then I went to college at NYU, and I'm meeting Vanessa from the Cosby Show. She's in class with me, and I'm like, yo, these are people you see on TV, right next to me. You know what I'm saying? We're the same. It's just opportunity ecosystems. That's me putting it together. I'm like, yo, how does this work? Again, going back to how I grew up, my mom knew nobody, right? So here I am meeting people, and I'm like, well, how does that work? And not in a way of I wasn't meeting people in a way of trying to be parasitical and just take information. I was just I want to know, how does that work? How does this work? And because I approached it that way, everybody opened with open arms. They were like, yo, this is how you do that. How do you write a movie, Nick? I asked them, right? I know it sounds stupid, but I'm 19 years old. I'm like, yo, how do you write a movie and get it to the, and he explained to me, I went to the prisons, I interviewed the guys, then I got this manuscript together, then a producer picked it up. He was explaining, I was learning the game, all the game, and I was starting to put things together, and that's kind of how. So I graduated school, and I got into the liquor store business. I told you that off camera. I got into the liquor store business because 2 of my friends thought it was a great idea. They were like, "Yo, you should do this. We'll be your partners," and so I was like, "All right, let's do it. Let's try it." I figured the plan would be to open one, then I open one for you. Everybody opens their own, and that partnership lasted about 4 months. It lasted 4 months.
Sounds like it. Yeah. Off rip.
We went for a couple of years already.
Yeah. About 4 months. So what happened was I put up the money.
We made it.
Right? I put up the money, and I was like, yo, listen, I need my money back, right? I don't just have the $50,000 to just blow it. So when I get my 50 out, then we're 33% partners.
Where'd you get 50,000 in 19?
No, this is, I was 21, 22.
Okay.
So I was working in different areas, but
hustling and making
that
money.
And life insurance. My father passed and left me a little bit of money. So I scrapped some money together. And so the liquor business is 2 cycles. From January to September is 1 cycle. Then October to December, the holidays, is the 2nd cycle. What you do in those 3 months, you make the whole year. So there's 2 cycles. So we opened like in November. So I got everything on credit, consignment, right? For people that don't understand, like you sign for it, you don't pay for it for 45 days. So I filled the store up, and we're rocking. We're open store. People are buying. It's in the hood, 159 3rd. So these guys are seeing this money. Again, going back to the reason I mentioned the credit, I didn't pay for it, right? So I still have to pay for it. So they're seeing 50, 60,000. They're like, oh, we rich, we killing it. I'm like, all right, guys, look. The net number after it's all said and done is like 10,000. They're like, oh no, that's fake. You're lying. Like,
yep.
Going back to, people that you work with.
No, with these people, they old like high school friends.
Oh yeah.
Or you went to college.
Growing up,
Okay.
high school guys, high school guys. No education, and I'm not saying that to be derogatory. I'm saying that
no formal education.
Right, no formal education,
Right.
but for people to understand that you should work with people that can do the job. Right. And if you can't understand the concept of net 30 day, then you got to rethink that, right? And I say that as a 50-year-old now. At 19, 20, I was like, yo, I'll put my people on, and you want to put everybody on, but not everybody can understand. And that was a hard lesson for me. I had to break up the partnership, and I paid them out. And I paid them out. I was thinking about that on the way in today. I was like, would I still do that? And I'd say yeah, because of who I am.
Taught you a lot.
Yeah, but I paid them out even though they had no legal. They weren't on the corporation. They weren't on the license. They weren't on anything. It was just me being their boy. And going back to that. So that was happening. And then I think I told you guys off camera also, I got the call from my friend.
Wait, real quick. You still friends with these individuals?
One guy ended up, so it was 3 of us. I introduced the other guys. One guy had a death. I met him when I was a doorman, right? Oh. He was in that building, right? Like working. And then somebody died from the door. I forgot who it was. He was on Rosie O'Donnell's show. If I broke it down, I could figure it out. But so he had like an epiphany. He wanted to mend bridges. So he had another one of my friends reach out. So the crazy part is, bro, I never had a beef with them in my heart. Mm-hmm. I was just like, all right, that's who you are. Like, people show you who they are.
And business.
Especially money is
yeah.
involved.
Like, I'm like, all right. So I'm gonna keep pushing. So me and him are cool, and we communicate sometimes. The other one, they had a falling out, kind of the same reason. He was helping him with I'm gonna use the contracting. He's a contractor, so he's helping with his house, and his friends were telling, oh, he's taking advantage of you. You're doing it too cheap. And they started going at each other, and he ended up breaking out, which is just kind of like
that's what happened.
Modus operandi, right? Like just kind of the same thing over and over again. So yeah, I'm cool with one of them. But like they say, wounds heal, but scars remain, right? So you're like I would never, he'd be like, yo, do an investment. Like, nah, I'm good, man.
Yeah, no, not a chance. Been there,
We tried that.
Yeah, I'm good. Let's leave that there. So then, all right. So then I get recruited into the banking field, into the real estate field, by a guy who owns a bank now. So I'm not going to put his name out there, but he explained to me about finding properties in the South Bronx. He was a white Jewish guy, and how, going to culture. This is the early 2000s. So if you know about the Bronx,
real estate
shit was crazy, bro. Like shit was banana, like burned down buildings, like crackheads everywhere. It was wild. So he was like, if you find me properties at a good price, I'll buy them and I'll pay you a 6% commission fee. That is what's called a real estate fee. Again, I say it this way because that's how I was explaining that, because I didn't know this was a way to make money, right? I was never exposed to this. So I was like, all right. So I found one, closed in like 2 months. I think the number was like 28,000, which to me was a lot of money. I was like, wow, 2 months, 20,000. Meanwhile, I'm killing myself for $6 a bottle of Hennessy, and I'm dealing with these people that are drunk, and it's just wild. Then we did another one. It was like 30-something thousand. So again, I'm like, okay, so the first time it was like, is he full of shit? Right? So now I got paid. The second time, like, all right, so this is business. This is business as usual. So I went to see him for the third one at his bank. And I had, I think I told you the story quickly, but I walked in, I went to the receptionist. She said, who are you? So I'm here to see this guy. She goes, all right, go to the back. He's waiting for you in the office. So I go into the doors, and there's a big pit of people screaming on the phone. About 100 people. No Spanish people, just say that. And I walk to the right, there's this whiteboard with numbers, 150, 250, 375, 400. I think the biggest number I saw was like 400. And I go into his office, he's there cleaning his shoes. I've said this story so many times, it's hilarious. And I'm like, fuck is he cleaning? Like, he's like, hey, Omar, what are you doing? I'm like, bro, I'm here to get paid. So anyway, he sits me in there. He's like, listen, how much do you make at the store? I think I was like, I make like 110 cash. He's like, that's good money. He's like, some guys out there are doing 4 times that a month. So then I asked those numbers on the board. He goes, those are monthly gross fees. So I was like, wow, 300. Not, the math went crazy in my head. I was like, 300 a month, a year. I could be $4 or $5 million. I was like, wait a minute. So he was like, I think you'd be really good at this. You're educated. You speak English. You speak Spanish. And back in it, like just to talk about this a little bit, that industry wasn't publicized to the Spanish or black people. Mm-hmm. If you saw one or two, and usually the Spanish guy was a guy named Carlos who barely spoke English. He was like the token, right? And he was there to and I say this with all due respect, he was there to basically rip apart his culture. Like he was, because they don't speak English. Going back to my whole thing, my mom, like they don't know if you speak Spanish, I trust you. Whatever you say, I'm a sign. They're not, because they can't read it. Mm-hmm. And that's who he was. So here I come, speaking English and Spanish, having some sort of education, and also having some street smarts. I was like, and I tore it apart, man. I went in there and I started. I got somebody to work at the liquor store for a while. I think it was 3 months. I did like 80,000 in 3 months. I did the math, a year, 110 with headaches and people and this and that. 80,000 3 months, clean, not busting my back.
Can't get stolen from.
Yeah, the liquor business is crazy because the liquor business, you move in boxes all day. If you're really trying to make money, you shipping at night. I'm not gonna incriminate myself. It's been a long time. There's a lot of shit you're doing. It's not like a regular. And the margins aren't crazy. The margins aren't like, you're not making double your money, making 30%, 40. So if you have $1 million and you're making $1 million move, now that we're talking where we're at in our lives now, it's different. But I'm making $300 moves. So I'm making $90 to be out 1 a.m. I was like, nah. And then you get stopped by a cop. Like, nah. So anyway, I fast forward into that. I go all in. My mother's like, you're crazy. Don't do that. It's commission only, right? There's no check. And coming from where she came from, everything had to be safety. So I was like, nah, ma, I see an opportunity there. She's like, you sure? It sounds illegal. Everything sounds illegal. When it makes too much, you sure? I was like, yo, it's...
My mom's Spanish.
I was like, ma, it's legal. It's like, you sure? I was like, it's legal. She was like, okay. So then a couple years, I mean, the worst year in the business, 2008, when the meltdown happened, I made $108. I remember that number because it taught me that I was onto something, right? I was like, okay, I'm making 6 figures in the fucking crisis, and the shit is on fire. I went to closings for people to sign. The bank went out of business when they were asking for funding for the money. They're like, so we're out of business today. Like that happened to me a few times. Wow. So like people like, yo, fuck you doing, oh? I was like, nah. People always need money. I was like, and if I can get in and do this shit now, when it turns, I'll be up. And that's how I kind of kept pushing. And I always just use that work ethic. Even when things are up, I still kind of keep pushing. Because what people don't tell you, and Dan, you might know this, right? Like what people don't tell you is that, all right, if you have nothing, all you have is time, right? So you got to give you time because you got to learn. You know, that's your barter. Now, when you start getting things, what I was never taught, which I learned on my own, most of my shit is self-taught, is that as you ascend and you start accumulating things, assets or toys, whatever, there's a burn rate. There's this. So now you have to raise your standard of what you have to have in reserves or what you make a month. Like nothing stays the same, right? And then you can't think 05 what 2020 is. Like those numbers, like, oh, if I have 250,000 in a knapsack, I'm good. Nah, man.
Doesn't work.
Nah, man, because that shit will burn down 3 months. Like, you know, if you get, if you get to a certain number, like
I literally just burned through 200,000 in 3 months.
I've done it. I'm like, the thing is, like, you remember that shit. You're like, fuck. So, because you thought you were good, but then you audit, right? You're like, oh, okay, well, my monthly payment is this. I just bought the building this and this and this. Construction is this. Oh, there it goes, right? Like, but the thing is, you got to recalibrate, right? You have shit, but money is the blood for the body of business, right? Like, you got to keep it moving. So, no matter how, even like we was talking about, like when you're on a certain level, you still borrow just in case. Because you have your cash reserve for the emergency. But you want to use the leverage to kind of make the money work for itself or work on you. Or if your investments are outperforming your borrowing, you're still net positive, right? Like just to use that concept. But I was never taught. This is taught through mistakes. This is taught to me because everybody I met, and I don't say this to sound any type of, I don't want to sound bitter. It was always a barter of exchange of value. It was never like, I'm going to put you on because I like you. It was like, yo, you speak Spanish? Yo, you go to those shithole crackhead neighborhoods and try to get me a deal? Bet, let's do that. And I'm like, I I got an opportunity. He's like, yo, if this guy doesn't die, it'll be fine, right? Like, if you think about it, right? If you think about it, now I'm thinking, I'm like, fuck was I doing? You know what I mean? But that's all I had. All I had was time. So I was young, and you know, I was a little street smart. I knew what to do. So as you get older, now you're like, and I don't understand like I'm washed. I just like, I have a little bit of shit. I've been married 20 something years. I got 3 young boys that I'm trying to be the man I tell them to be, right? So I have to show it. I can't just be on some, like my father was great. He'd be smoking cigarettes, drinking beers. Like, don't ever do this. And he's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I try not to be that guy.
Yeah.
And here we are. And, you know, and then with their generation now, with instant access, they don't have life experience. You know, I was going back to telling you what I was doing in the supermarket or changing tire. Like, they don't have life experience. They just have these theories. Oh, I know. Let me go on to Google. It's going to, all right, tell them to take the lug nut out or jack the car up. Or when you feel the pressure, tell me what, you know, like.
Well, most kids today don't know how to use a drill.
There you go. There you go. So you understand what my concept is. Like, so like I was telling my wife this weekend, I was like, look, I got to expose him more. You got to be out there. Like, going to school is one thing, but being in action, I call it hand-to-hand combat. Being in hand-to-hand combat, that's going to teach him to understand, like, when I speak to clients a certain way, when I try to, like I was telling you at that closing, when I'm trying to regulate personalities, it's a skill, right? Regulating, having conversations, it's a skill.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, like to know how to
Sure.
approach somebody, open them up, or try to, sometimes you want your will to superimpose there. Be like, hey, I don't think it's the right reason, and this is why I don't think it's the right reason. You have to know how to use it in what context. Some people don't have that, bro. Yeah. Some people don't have that.
Yeah, communication's a core skill, right? I mean, how do you get through life and get anyone to pay you anything for any kind of service that you may be, rendering in the future if you can't communicate properly?
The crazy part is also when people don't have the education to understand the value you bring. Mm-hmm. Like, I've lost family members over, I didn't save $600,000. I did what's called a 1031 exchange for one of my cousins. Mm-hmm. I was like, bro, you got a $2 million event. We're gonna do a 1031. We're gonna flip it into this. I explained it to him maybe too fast, but you saved me $600,000. But because the $600,000 wasn't taken out of his account and then given back to him, it was just like a theory. It was never like, nah, you didn't save me $600,000. I was like, yes, I did. He's like, no, you did. Oh, all right. I can't argue. Like, who am I gonna argue with? This guy? I was like, okay.
So some people will never understand the true value of business and what we have to go through, what we learn, the process, because they see it for how they see it, no matter how much you explain it. And if it doesn't value them in the way that they thought it would value them, they're never going to see how you tried to help them or tried to serve them. So throughout your, entrepreneurship, what's been, let's talk about the hardest fall or crash that you've went through.
Oh man, everybody's been asking me this question lately because I think they want me to be the first podcast I cry on. So the hardest thing I've ever had to fucking deal with, to be totally honest with you, in 2017, my mother caught 3 strokes, right? During that time, and I don't say this to minimize anyone else, I just say this because unless you've been through that, it's hard to express. So now you're going through life, like the woman that brought me into this world, and to me, who was like the strongest person that I knew, right? Like she raised me, right? She's there, like, half her skull is out, like it's a fucking mess. And you still got to be a husband. You still got to be a father. You still got to be a business. Because again, there's nobody behind me. I think one of the reasons I was always hustled so hard, I didn't have a backup. Who? Mm-hmm. My father? My father died when I was 18. Like, my stepfather was good too, but he had his own demons. He had like gambling. Like he was fucked up too. Like, not as a person, but he had his shit. So, trying to be a person who's not fractured and deal with things objectively, going back into the concept of emotional deregulation, right? That's a theory that I was. It's a concept with psychology. My therapist and I spoke about, where he's like, like your nervous system reacts to shit different, right? So if you're, for example, if you're always broke, I don't know if you've been around. Like, I've been around real broke niggas, like my friends, and like, they always nervous. They're like, yo, what we gonna do, man? Like, if you know the mannerism, they're always fucked up. So if you're in a constant state of almost like shock, you either go panic. Either you're like that or you're very like this. And so I went really like this. So I was objective. My wife helped me tremendously during this time because at a certain point she was like, yo, I'm with you. She was like, but the boys are gonna get older, right? And you're not even here. You're here, but you're not even here. And another friend of mine who had suffered something similar told me something and it really hit home for me. He goes, yo, you're not a fucking brain surgeon, bro. Because I know this might sound crazy when I say this, but like I'm deep diving into vascular dementia. I'm like, I'm gonna cure this shit. Like,
yeah, right.
right? Because that's your mother, right? Like, you're like, I gotta figure. I'm gonna crack the code. And he's like, yo, bro, I love it. He's like, yo, it's a marathon, bro. He's like, now you gotta switch gears. You're not a superhero. You gotta be the guy. Like, you know, I became her proxy, her minute, everything. I became dad, right? So like, have this person, and at the same time, you gotta try to be that person, and for the person meaning the provider, the husband. But there's this part of my life where apathy was the feeling most of the time. Like, I didn't give a fuck. I did enough for it not to fall apart, right? I just did enough. Like, if I knew there was an emergency, all right, I'll do this. All right.
Did your business suffer because of this?
I mean, yeah.
Your family suffered, obviously. Your boys.
Well, remember, it's all me, right? Yeah. So the one thing I learned in terms of self-value was that all my highest net worth clients, and this is a lesson, were the most understanding. The guys who had to do $1 million deals, the this, that, yo, I need your help. Oh, I was like, yo, listen. And this is what I would tell them. I'd be like, listen, mom's in the hospital. I'm not gonna be like responsive. Like, there might be days I'll be in the hospital for a day or two. I don't know. Like, I just don't fucking know, bro. I was like, if you want me to do it for you, I got you. But that might happen. Yo, you're the guy. You're the guy. Just my prayers for her. Just keep me updated. And those, like, I can tell you 3 or 4 multi-million-dollar deals I did that year. And I can tell you the small $300,000-$400,000 deals. They're like, what? You don't answer the phone? Fuck you. Da da da. And I had to hold my head and be like, listen, sir, I understand. Because I was redefining myself. Like, you know, going back to crash out. Like in my 20s, I was like, oh, fuck it. That wasn't doing it because I had such little energy that I had to conserve it because I'm trying to hold myself together, right? I'm trying to not crumble apart. Like one of my friends told me, like, you know, you broke apart, bro. You had to put yourself back together. He had lost his father. He had slept in the fucking graveyard. Those are the friends that I needed at the time to really tell me, yo, there's no easy way through it. You just got to get through it. He's like, you got to find your way through it. He's like, but you have to do it for your family. You have to, like, because there's parts you're like, yeah, depression's a real thing, man. Because there were certain parts I'm like, yo, like, it was hard to even give a fuck about anything. And you know, your work is a incredible therapy device for dealing with depression or anything, because you're not focusing on that. You're just focusing on this, right? But there are those times when you're by yourself. And, you know, like, I don't know if you guys saw that last Avengers movie where the guy, the Void, you know what I'm talking about? With the last, not the Avengers movie. It was the guy.
I've seen all the Avengers.
Well, the last movie that came out where the guy, like, people would go into like their deepest, worst emotional states, and that's what and I was like, yo, I understand that. I understand, because when you suffer a fracture or a life event, you know, even I consider myself a super positive person. But there were certain points in my life, and I was like, yo, does it matter? Right? Does it matter? Not like life, but like, who cares? Like, you know, and that's not me. Like, to me, everything matters. Every day matters. Like, we get a day. Let's make it happen. Like, I'm that guy. And me talking to you guys about it now, I had to remember. I was like, yo, it was tough. But luckily, I had some really good friends, and not that they were like beating me up or my wife was beating me. Like, they were just like, we all process shit the way we process it. I can't identify with yours, or you can't identify, because we all are individualistic that way. So to get the space to do it, and just to know that somebody was understanding that you're a human being too, not just a fucking ATM or a bank or a problem-solving machine. Like, I've been called all those things, right? And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be that right now. I just want to, I don't know, stare into the fucking sun. You know what I'm saying? Some crazy shit that you would never do. But yeah.
So that was rock bottom for you?
That was rock bottom. Trying to function while everything else fought for me not to function. You know, that was rock bottom.
What lessons did you learn from that?
That we're all human. that you can't suppress it. You got to face it. You got to face it, man. You got to face it. And I don't mean you're going to cure it. I just mean that you got to acknowledge it. Only with the acknowledgement of something can you address it and maybe overcome it, right? Or get through it. But if you don't even acknowledge it, like most people try to like drink or get high to kind of like, suppress the pain, you're not going to move through it.
So instead of trying to go through it, you grew through it.
Yeah.
You allowed it to grow you. You had to get into a place of understanding. And today,
you had to understand what you felt, right? Like you have to understand that, like, yo, this is human. You're human.
Yeah.
As much as we all build ourselves up to be superhuman, we're human. And our processes, our bodies, our nervous systems react to trauma differently. And you got to work through that shit. You got to be like, all right, I understand. They say most of the time you're arguing with people about things that have nothing to do with the argument.
exactly.
Yeah, all the time.
That's it. That's really it.
What did you learn on the business side? Because it seems to me, I mean, you said it, and we heard it, I don't know how many times, and we experienced it on our own, but the wealthiest people, don't really care as much, right? They say, do whatever you got to do. And that's typically because they understand that the most valuable thing that you give them, I'm assuming, because based on previous experiences, is trust. And they found someone they trust. There's someone that's really good at what they do. And therefore, they don't care how long they gotta wait. They choose you. What other lessons have you learned?
The biggest lesson I could say, man, and this I'll steal from Sean Martin a little bit, because he comes from where I come from, right? When you broke, you don't understand shit because you just trying to get to tomorrow, right? So now you get a little something and you understand. Like they say, thinking is a rich man's problem. You ever heard that statement?
Mm-hmm.
You build yourself to a point where you can actually think for a minute. It changes everything. So when I grew up, I had no time to think for anything. I'm translating. Right. Yeah. Right. I'm in crisis mode my whole fucking life. During 10 years old, what is this? What is that? Do I need to do? I'm like, and before Google and shit, I'm trying to on the fly. I learned Spanish on my own because I would get sent to Puerto Rico for summers at a time. Nobody spoke English. I had to learn Spanish on my own. I had to learn to read Spanish, or I would, I was gonna die. You know what I mean? Like my grandfather was gonna be like, "Yo, what are you doing?"
Survival mode.
Right. So once you get to a different level of your life, if that is your goal, then you start to understand, like you want somebody to be present for you at their best. If all you get is what they can give you, that's okay. But if you're so good, going back to your question, I built a name for it. Like anybody who knows, like if you run into one of my clients, they'll be, that's it. There is nobody. I'll walk 50 banks. I'll go to Omar. If you build your name because you build your name with value and trust, they become fanatical, right? And that's when you're at your best, that's what you should aim to do. Because there will be times you're not at your best, but your best is what resonates with people. Because all they remember is the success that you had for them, right? So that goes to show like every day is an opportunity to do things, because sometimes me talking to my kids, I'm like, yo, don't burn another day. Make it count. Do whatever it is. Like wash, fix your room. Do little things. They compound. Like, and it's not really about that one thing. It's really about building an attitude towards building every day. Something. It could be anything. It could be anything.
So let's talk about your boys now. Like you have 3 sons.
Yeah.
And they go from the age of 30 to 21, you said? Something like that?
30, 25, and 21.
What do you feel is the best thing that you can teach them as a father, number one, and the principles of life? Because the way you grew up in the hood and going through all that stuff is totally different than the way they're growing up. Yeah. So I think, I grew up in the hood too. And till 14 years old, I lived in an apartment. So like, I get it. Mm-hmm. And when we see our families struggle for minimum because that's their maximum, but then we live in a place where we're older and our kids never have to go through that struggle. What's the most important thing that you feel that you should instill in your boys?
I think all 3 of my boys are distinctly unique, and they were all in my life, or all at a very moldable part of their life during a part of my life. For example, my 30-year-old, he remembers, me and his mother didn't work out, and he remembers the come up, right? He remembers being fucked up. But I also had to have a timeout with him for a couple of years where we were suffering what's called a triangulation of a relationship, right? Meaning there was me, there was his mother, there was my mother, and there was me, and him. And I was like, no. So when mom got sick, this kind of came to a fruition. I was like, listen, man, I'm not I told him this with all due respect, and I don't want anybody to misread this. I want a direct relationship with you. I'm not trying to position myself to say you love me more. I don't care about any of that shit.
Yeah.
I was like, until we having that conversation though, we're not talking. I was like, because I'm in such a bad place with what happened to grandma that I'm just in a bad place. Like, I might fuck you up. Like, I just kept it real with him. It was like 2 or 3 years. It was 2 or 3 years. We had to take a time out because I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing my mother says this. I don't have the bandwidth, bro. Like,
I dealt with that with my middle son.
Yeah,
for
I'm like,
4 years.
I'm in such a, but to have that self-awareness, right? Because I don't know, I speak for myself, but there have been times in my life I'm so mad I see red. And then, you don't want to lose your self-control and you want to hurt nobody. Like, it just, and I was aware of that because I had dealt with that trauma. I was looking at my mother, I was like, I don't have certain safety protocols that I was like, yo, I'm going to fuck you up. Like, it might be on site and this is my son, right? So I'm like, yo, you don't want this guy. Like, please, let's take a break. And he understood. I said, because we had a conference call with his mother and he was talking crazy to me and I didn't engage, but I was like, okay, is that how you feel? Okay. So I just told him, I said, look, man, when you're ready to talk to me and we have a real relationship, like me and you solid, we should do that. Until then, I was like, I'm not doing this, and I don't think we should be around each other because I might hurt you. And he, 2 or 3 years, and then one day I was in Mexico with my wife, and she was like, you're the father. That's all she had to say to me. She was like, you have to reach out. She was like, you have to reach out. This is gone. She's like, I let it go. And this is not his mom. This is my wife. She's like, I let it go, but he needs you, right? He needs you. They're going to need you. The way you needed somebody, he needs you. And I hit him on, I didn't even have his phone number. I hit him on Instagram. I said, yo, I want you to know I'm here. If you ever want to talk to me, I just want you to know I'm open. I don't want you to think the door's closed. The door's open. Dad loves you. And he texted me, yo, Dad, like it was like waiting for it, which
awesome.
was, but it was hard. It was hard to go through that because, but our relationship's so much better now because he had to have the absence of, right? Like it's like when you always have stuff available to you. If you don't miss it, if you don't not have it, or if they don't tell you no, you don't know what that means. What does that mean? What do you mean I can't have water? What does that mean? Like there's water out the tap, or there's no water in the tap. Go to the river. What? Like you know what I'm saying? Like I was talking to my wife about my mom growing up yesterday. That's why it came up. I'm like, my mother grew up in a dirt floor, like, and she had to go get water from the river. Like, think about how far she could think, because if that was her ground zero. She can't think Amazon. She can't think, putting things in the, and you got to give them grace, right? You got to like, I get it, but I got you. I'm gonna do this for you, right? Going back to him, like we have a great relationship now. Like now we talk every 3 or 4 days, and he got a girl now. He's thinking about wifing her up, and he's really happy. He's in PA, and he sees me once every 2 months. He comes up and we hang out.
Did that relationship impact the relationship you have with your 2 younger ones?
Yeah, that was it was tough because my youngest, they're blood brothers. My middle son's my stepson. Sorry, man, I thought I turned this off. Anyway,
Oldest and your youngest are blood brothers?
yeah, they're half brothers.
Got it.
And I remember one time my youngest, he cried. He was like, "Yo, man, you know what I'm saying? I know you had problems with him, but he didn't call me, like, and I had to mend that fence too, right? And I had to take that shit on the chin, like." Mm-hmm. Me being upset, and it just goes to show you when you lead a family, like there's a lot of responsibility, but there's a lot of relationships because they're gonna follow your cue. Going back to being the man you want them to be. So I mended it, but it hurt. It hurt. Like to hear your son be hurt, bro. Like you don't want that, and then for it to maybe be your fault, that shit hurts, bro. That humbles you in a way that
my middle guy didn't talk to me for 4 years. Him and my older guy didn't have a good relationship. Him and my daughter didn't have a good relationship. Now that he's talking to me almost.
Is it separate mothers?
No, all my kids same mom.
Okay.
My oldest son lived with me full time. My other son left to go live with his mom full time.
Okay.
And my daughter was back and forth. But my oldest son didn't have a relationship with my middle son because he was just a prick. You know what I mean? And he just wanted to do things his way, and he didn't want to follow the rules. And that's your dad. It's not my dad. And kind of shit. You know what I mean? Wow. But ever since he came back and he grew up, it was through his high school years. So he had to mature. Mm-hmm. He had to step into the real world and realize, like, yo, listen, you know what I mean? You only have one dad, and he just came back. And Now they have a great relationship. They hang out. They do things. You know,
And that must make you feel good as a father.
and I see it.
They have business together.
And they have a business together now.
Okay.
You know, so they're exploring things. And first, I had them out in an event. I was speaking out on Friday, and to see them both there. But, you know, what's crazy is that I think now my youngest son sees how much my oldest son believed in me as a father. I literally cried on stage. It was fucked up on Friday when I went up to go speak, because as soon as I went to go speak, I looked at my phone to make sure it was on vibrate, and I didn't put it on vibrate because I saw this message and I got totally twisted. My oldest son's like, I'm proud of you. You're gonna rock it. Nobody can deliver to this room like you can.
That's great.
So like that's my 20-year-old son saying that. Yeah. So I like literally go up to the front of the room and I just start breaking down. I'm like, fuck, right? Because in life, our mission as a father is, you know, everyone thinks it's like, oh, I want to make everyone else happy. Everyone wants to see me be successful and all this shit. But as a father, if, you know, an employee or a business partner or a friend goes, hey, man, I'm proud of you, that's cool, bro. Yeah. But when your fucking kid says they're proud of you and they're like, hey, Dad, I'm proud of you, like, you're supposed to be proud of your children.
Yeah.
You know, but then when your child says they're proud of you, like, that shit shakes the room, bro.
Well, that becomes the dynamic of the relationship, right? Like, I don't know how you grew up, but, you know, my step-pops, you know, he was a good dude. He bought me everything. He was a little mafia dude. So, like, we had stuff. But, you know, he got home. He was vegging out on TV. Like, it wasn't like, let's talk. Nah. There was no, we're going to dinner. We'll do activities. But it was never a relationship.
Right.
The relationship occurred. So he had, to break that one, just give you a little extra on that one. He has two biological sons. And they're older than me. Then he got with my mother. And then he got divorced from my mother. He was with his I guess my stepmom, right? I guess we'll call it that. And he's passed away for about 5 years now. But he always stood tightest with me. Like I was, first of all, I'm 6'3" Spanish. He's 5'8" white guy. Like it was like he's my son. They're like, all right, all right, I get whatever you say,
not
man.
gonna argue with you.
Yeah, all right. But like, you know, when he was like, I was his guy. Like he was like, going back to parentification. He's like, yo, I need you to work on my SSI. I need you to like, and his wife was like, I could do it. She's like, no, Omar could do it. Omar's smart. Like he was saying kind of like indirectly, Omar, he's the clever one. He could do it for me. Not you. No offense, da. And his other sons, he never even spoke to them. When he passed in the Bronx hospital, right? I went to see him a week before he passed, and he had suffered a stroke, but he was incapacitated. He wasn't talking. I was in Mexico, and I get a call from his wife, and he's like, Danny passed. I was like, okay. I was like, what do you need from me? Like, what do you like? To me, that's the response, right? If that's the guy he was my dad. Like, when I got robbed at 12 years old, he's the guy who beat the shit out of the guys on the street. Like, that's my guy. Like, you know, like, so I was like, what do you need? And she was like, well, I gotta leave him in the coroner or in the morgue till next week. And I'm like, why? I was like, you don't want a funeral? She's like, I don't want to do a funeral. I was like, all right, so why you leave him she's like, I can't pay for it. So all right, how much is it? I'm gonna send it to you right now. I was like, do you need me to come back to New York? I'll come to New York because the family's like the whole family, but I'll go. She's like, no. She was like, no, I'm good. She was like, you don't have to. I was like, and you know, she had 2 kids that he raised, but so there's 5 of us. With my sis 6, but I get the call. But I consider myself lucky to get the call because I want to, like the guy who held me down when I was a kid, I want to hold you down. That'll be my, you know, my shit for you, bro. I got you. So yeah, he ended up, you know, we got him in the urn, and yeah, I didn't leave. Going back to, you know, like I just needed, like I told the kids, Grandpa died, and I was like, I need like an hour, just to kind of get my head right.
Process.
Right, I just needed like an hour, and then my wife was like, you want to leave? I was like, nah, there's nothing to do. Really nothing to do. There's no
What's
funeral.
going to change if you go home?
Right, there's no funeral, there's nothing. I was like, let's do that. But yeah, like death has been weird with me, man. Like my father passed when I was 18. I went to work the next day because I didn't know what to do with myself. I was 18, right? My mother hated my father. Like they had the worst relationship. So I didn't want to sit home and listen to her complain about it. So I went to work. And most people were like, oh, that's crazy. I'm like, it's just a way of coping.
Yeah.
Going back to work and coping, you know?
And I just think as an entrepreneur mindset, we're gonna go back to work anyway because it takes our mind. Like you said before, like when you're at work, it takes your mind off it. But like if you're an employee, you're gonna milk it and be like, oh, my dad or mom died, so I'm gonna take a whole fucking week off because you're gonna use it to your advantage.
Bro, I'll give you this one.
Which, to be fair, most people will want to take a week off if their mother dies or father dies.
But as a business owner, you can't.
No, you can't. Right.
I mean, you
Most
might not
people
show
will.
up to the office, but you're still processing, checking in, doing stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know if my
Yo,
mom
I got a
died,
call.
it'd fucking
Listen,
be, you know.
on Friday, I think I told you, I had my tooth extracted, and what do you call it? Bone fusion, whatever they did. They put something in my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I had those 6 condos closing, so I'm the glue. Like the client won't he's Russian. Luis, I will not he's not signing. I'm not available, right?
Is that your best Russian
So
accent?
I told my son, I was like, go to the office. I was like, if I need you to be there because I don't know because people knocking on the door but I might need you. I might need you to drive. I don't know how I'm gonna feel, but this shit got to get done. So he was like, yeah, I heard that, this other person's getting something like you got, and they're taking like a week off of work. I was like, yeah, those are pussies. We don't do that here. I was like, get the
week
car.
off. Yeah,
I was like, get the car. We're leaving, and that was it. But that's just, you know what? I grew up in the '90s, and it was a very different culture. Like we grew up a little different. It was really savage, bro. It was like right. It was pretty savage. The '90s was like no joke. From the movies to the culture, it was poverty was crazy. It was different.
I've seen speakers on stage, bro, that their parents literally died a few days before they got on stage, but they had to be on stage because they committed. You committed
Yeah,
to
you
it.
make them a commitment.
And
It's
you
different.
have to be there. So it's the same thing with entrepreneurship and business. Like, yeah, bro, if my mom passed, you know what I mean? What am I gonna do? Like, there's nothing I could do. I could be upset about it.
Yeah.
But you gotta move forward. And I think you teach, people, hey, listen, let's look at the best parts of this opportunity. So. One of my son's friends' dads died. I played baseball with the other day, and he just calls me. He's like, "Hey, you gonna go to the funeral or the wake?" I'm like, "Nah." He's like, "Why?" I was like, "Dude, I don't really go to wakes." I said, "Number one, because like, I hate going to wakes and going to pay my respect, and everyone's laughing and doing all this stuff. Number one. Number two, like, I'm just gonna pray for him and do what I gotta do because I get so disappointed when I go to people's wakes and I see what everyone's doing in there, and they're not mourning to death. They're just having conversations, laughing, doing all this stuff, and forgetting about, we went out for 2 seconds, but now let me take this time to reminisce, connect, and be loud and be stupid. So that's just something I feel. And like, he's like, that's weird. I'm like, that's just me. That's something.
That's your relationship with death.
That's
all it is.
how I feel. Like,
Yeah.
I remember when my grandpa died. He was like the closest guy to me. And I just remember I was young. I was probably like 10 years old or some shit. And everyone in there was laughing. And he was like my man, bro, right? And I was getting so
You
pissed
angry?
off.
Yeah.
So like since that time, like I hate going to wakes, hate going to
I
funerals.
want to let you know right now, if you don't come to my funeral, I'm going to come back and haunt you.
Don't worry, bro. I'll just pay for I'll
Put it out there. Omar's my witness.
I'll carry the
So
casket.
when your shit starts creaking,
I'll carry the casket.
gonna be
I'll
me.
throw the dirt on. We're good.
Yeah. Listen,
I'll jump in there with you.
it's
man.
crazy. Like, it just becomes your relationship with shit, man. That's all. I mean, like, we can honor the people that leave us in our own way, right? Like, for going back to what you said about having to speak, whatever. Like, for my mother who came from nothing, her biggest thing, like my proudest moment was like 2012 or something like that. She was like, I was taking her breakfast one day, and I was wearing suits a lot because at that time,
That was the era. Yeah.
right, and she was like, "I'm so proud of you," right? Meanwhile, my whole life was always like, "No, don't do this, don't do that." And that was it. That's all I wanted. That's all I needed, and I was happy. I was validated, and I just felt that she was proud, so I was happy. I also, I bought her first house with her, right? I did things that she never thought she could do, and that to me was the biggest thing. Like that's the biggest thing. Like when she passed, I didn't have a funeral. I had a commemoration in my house. I had, it wasn't to the public, it was to the family. And, and that was it. Everybody came, they tell their stories, and it was dope. Because I remember, like, her generation, like, they all fallen off. Like, I have pictures of her and my 3 other aunts, and she's the only one left. And then, you know what I'm saying? And these people were healthy before, this was after her stroke. So they ended up dying before her, which you're thinking they're totally healthy. And, you never know. It's just crazy. So, yeah, you just got to find your way to honor people, in the way you think they would love it, That's really it. I don't know what I would want to do at my funeral.
I'd want people to laugh,
Have a party,
I mean, my father died at a very young age. I was 12.
Wow.
So he died sudden, right? Just happened. Obviously was devastated immediately. But at the funeral, yeah, it was really sad. But, you know, the people around me made me laugh. They told me stories that I've never heard before.
Yeah.
Crazy shit. They probably shouldn't have told me at 12 years old,
Right.
quite honestly. But those are stories that I bring with me today
Yeah.
that make it acceptable that, you know,
Well, you
events
lost
had
them really
occurred.
early in your life, bro. Like you didn't get those years, right?
Right.
And going back to time, that's the most important thing you have, right? Like me having my son come with me, like you got to see this. Like it's not me preaching, it's not me. This is the theory. Yo, this is what it is. Look, right? He's like, why those people? I was like, that's why. Like, there's just something impactful about sharing time with with your loved ones, but also if you're trying to teach your kids, showing them, not telling them. Yo, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, yo, the truck got a flat. All right, go fix it. You go out there and help them eventually, but you gotta let them fuck around with it a little bit to understand.
I love him. My
To
son the other
understand,
day.
right? To understand the pain, bro. That shit's no joke. That shit is no joke. But how do you grow? How do you grow if everything is done for you? Right?
You can't.
Right. And then one day when
impossible.
I'm not here, I know it sounds fucking corny, like we all say it, right? When I'm not here, but you're supposed to be the guy. Like I tell you, you're supposed to be the guy.
You got to step up.
Yeah, you're the guy.
You're the
There's
next in line.
nobody ever knocking. They're gonna knock on your door.
Yeah.
What you gonna do? I don't know how to do that. You better figure that shit out, right? So it becomes my theory on that in terms of, you know, making them competent men, right? You want to make them competent. They don't have to be you, or they have other skills, but
Yeah,
they
my,
have some
my son's very
sort of
good with that.
confidence.
Saturday, the tractor went flat, and I'm doing something. I'm like, yo, bro, come over here real quick. I need you real quick. Bring the jack. And jack it up. He plugged the tire. He did everything. Like, I'm just like, oh, bro. I know I could depend on him to do that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I told him at such a young
Yeah,
age. to
he's
do
a
it.
savage.
Yeah.
He can do everything.
Bro, they just ripped the truck apart, rebuilt the truck. Like,
That's dope.
I can't even do that shit. You know what
That's
I mean?
dope. Yeah, yeah.
But that's crazy. So what's next for you? Like, where do you see yourself, let's say in the next 5 years? Like, what's the goal for you, your brand, everything that you're doing? You have, you know, the media company, you have the bank, you have the real estate. Like, where are you headed?
I'm gonna go on a run, and when the Bronx office is done, I'll invite you up. I'm making it like an HQ. It'll be like a media downstairs with the places for make it like an ecosystem. I'm gonna open my own fund where I'm actually trading my own money,
Oh,
so I can
fantastic.
make my own decisions. Be like, yo, because you know, at the end of the day, the higher you go, the more impersonal it gets, and the richest people I've met really commoditize other people. They don't look at people like I do. Like, yo, I understand your story. Let me see what I can do. They're like, yo, it's black and white. That's all it is. And I don't want to be that. I want to be somewhere in the middle, right? I could do $100 million. Let me be a $100 million guy, but with a heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still business, but I want to have the ability to make my own decision and not have to go check off. We didn't check off these 3 boxes. We can't do it. I'm like, you could do it if we do that. Like, going back to creativity. So the media company is something that people have been hitting me up about because they want to do. Of course, right? Everyone wants to do what you do, right? I want to have a podcast. I want to do that. Like, what's the goal, right? All right, so we break down the goal. All right, well, then you have to commit to this. Not just money, your time. You have to do this. You have to have a plan, right? There's more to it than just getting in front of a camera and putting the shit on Instagram. That's the part that people don't want to commit to. They're like, nah, it's too much. I'm like, well, how's it gonna
That's
happen?
what's gonna take.
Yeah, well, how's it gonna happen? Like, I can't tell you a story. You got to tell you a story, and then you got to know what you want to tell about your story. What do you want to be known for, right? It takes thought, and what I find is a lot of people want the finished product without the thought, and you can get that, but it's probably not going to be what you wanted. It'll probably be different, and then you'll be upset because it's not what you wanted, but you never put the effort and thought behind it. So why did you expect it? You know what I'm saying? It's like a circle. Like that's what I see a lot of. Because yo, bro, I've been posting every day for 6 years, right? This conversation came up yesterday with somebody, and I was like, I've seen people come and go. I've seen people come, they come out hot, they post, and they gone. Or they go down, they come up, or they just disappear. And then they're like, yo, how are you at this? I'm like, well, I never stopped, right? That's the secret. I never stopped.
Consistency.
My mother's dying, I never stopped. I never stopped. I did my hips, I never, like, whatever, short of fucking getting hit by a car, I never stopped. And that's what it takes. That's what it takes. Like, oh, I want to own a building too. I'm sure you could. This is the amount of money. Well, how'd you get the money? Well, I did this amount of transactions. Well, how did you transact? Well, I serviced this amount of customers. It's the work, guy. It's like you're looking. They're looking for that one aha moment where everything changed. I was like, no. It's a compounding of consistency that gives you. If you don't have the money, you might get the look, or you might get the leverage, or you might get the consideration. Right? That's what all this media thing to me gets you considered. Now, you got to be fucking good to get the business. That's the part people don't understand. They're like, oh, but you know, I had like 4 or 5 young kids working for me, and I say young, they're like 30. They all want to be Instagram famous. I'm like, all right, cool. For what? Well, I want to get business like you. I was like, do you know how to do a DSCR loan? Do you know how to do a burn ratio? Do you know, like I just give them questions? No. I was like, you should know how to do that first, because when you get known, they're gonna know really fast if you suck. So be good, so that when you get known, you can close it. But that's the part, that's like me preaching to the choir. I was like, they're like, oh, I just want the highlight shit. Yeah. I was like, the grind makes you shine.
100%.
Yeah, the consistency creates the opportunity.
Correct.
The opportunity doesn't come unless you're consistent.
Right, and the consideration comes, but then you got to be qualified. Like everybody wants to, but yo, you're not good. Like no offense, you can't call that bank. Like I can call them, hey, we need to do a wraparound, like whatever. We need an exception on this. Well, based on the 18 million did last month, we're gonna give you the exception. Like you call, they're like, who the fuck is this, right? But you build that constantly, and that's the part where I feel that things are getting lost. You're a speaker, right? I've spoken at high schools. I'm a little older, right? These young kids who want to be life coaches at 22, bro. I'm sorry.
They haven't been
I'm
through life yet.
gonna give them the double clap on the ears, get out of my face. You know what I mean? Like,
you haven't been through life yet.
Yeah, you
22
haven't
years
done
old life
anything yet.
coach,
And
yeah.
no offense, but do something else. Get some years, get some experience, then you can talk about your experience. What are you gonna teach people? Oh, I'm gonna give you my life coaching hacks to make you 6 figures. Are you 6 figures?
Yeah.
Can I see some bank statements? No offense. Like, what do you own? Like, what have you done? Is there any sort of proof?
Yeah, you got to lead with the proof. You got to lead with the evidence if you want to be the expert.
Yeah.
How you do that.
So just go rent a Lambo and take a couple of videos real quick.
Yeah, we know quite a few people like
That's
that.
but and you're gonna catch young kids, and the truth of the matter is that you might catch a young kid doesn't know any better, but he doesn't have the opportunity to grow either. Like some of my clients, when I did their first loan, $150,000, they're now buying $1 million houses or $2 million. We grew together, right? Like how do you do this?
Thing,
your clients grow with you if you do it right.
All right.
If you're churning and burning people, if you're just lying, you're gonna get $5,000 here, $5,000. That's cool, but really, like unless you're getting $1 million a year, like what you doing? Like you could burn through $250,000 really quickly, bro. Like I've done it myself. I know it's not all it looks like, especially when you have life, right?
Yeah, money goes fast, bro.
Yeah.
So with all those things considered, you got a lot of things going on. Obviously, you have a bright future ahead of you. I have nothing but the most confidence for you for sure. But through everything that you have going on for you right now, what keeps you up at night?
What keeps me up at night? I sleep well. So I'm a firm believer.
So the question is, all right, so is that due to the therapy or has it always been this way?
No, it's always been that way. So
Okay.
I had some life shit happen to me when I was really young, with some friends that they got caught up in some legal stuff, and I didn't get caught up in it, but I was like, I was scared. I was like, oh my God. And I used to stay up at night, like nervous. And then one day I said, yo, there's nothing that I can do about this. Let me get the best sleep I can and tackle that shit tomorrow morning with all my shit, with everything, all my capacity, right? So that's how I sleep really well. Even my mom being sick, bro, I was like, let me get what sleep I can get, because if I get that call at 1 a.m.,
come back stronger.
I gotta go. I gotta I remember one time I got called 7 in the morning. I thought my day was gonna go a certain way. I'm taking a shower. I get a call. She's in some emergency shit. I gotta go. I was there the whole day. Like I've lived that where me being energetically available helped. Me being foggy and phased would not have helped. And that's what you do to yourself when you're just grinding your gears at night. You're not really doing anything, unless we're trying to, be creative and you want to think of an idea or something like that. But worrying is praying for the wrong thing to happen. You know that, right? Like that's like if you obsess about the wrong shit, it's gonna happen, bro. You bring it to yourself.
Yeah, you bring it.
Yeah, I tell people all the time,
yeah.
focus on what you want. The other stuff is just noise. Just focus on what you want and it will solve the issue. You know what I'm saying? Like go business. Focus on generating revenue. I have bills. I have this. I hear you.
We all do.
I focus on generating, because when you have revenue, you can solve these issues. If you have no revenue, you have a bigger problem.
Yep.
Right? And every day keeps going. The bills go higher and higher. If you're not bringing anything in because you're worrying about the bills, and there's an attitude, right? Like when you're focused on creating or solving problems, your energy, your frequency is different than when you are sitting there. Oh my God, I'm gonna pay that cable bill. I'm gonna pay this car note. I'm gonna pay this.
Yeah.
your shit is off. You're not going to attract anything. And then, God forbid, you get on the phone with somebody who's like a little contentious. You're emotionally destabilized. You like start flipping, right?
Yeah.
Because you're set in a bad place. So you have to really focus where you keep your energy, where you keep your focus on. I know it sounds like redundant, but you have to focus. That to me has been the biggest secret of everything. Because in my worst times with my mother, I got to close a few deals because her medicating kicking. I need 20,000. These are real stories. I go to the pharmacy. My sister called me, yo, they're not giving her insulin. They changed it. How much is it? $300. Okay. Yeah. Like, I know I need that. So there I focus on that because I know, not just for that, for everything. My kid's college.
Yeah.
My car. My this. My that. Like whatever. My son. Like whatever.
It's all full circle. Yeah.
Yeah. I know revenue always helps. So I focus on the revenue.
Well, Omar, it was a pleasure having you on the podcast. Really, really enjoyed getting to know you deeper.
Yeah.
We've connected, to a level, but not this level, and really appreciate the insight. So, if you could let our audience know where they can find you, how they can connect with you.
Ask Louis Omar everywhere. Everything's Ask Louis Omar. All the websites lead you back to me. If I could be of service, please contact me.
Awesome. We'll connect you and all your links to the YouTube video and everything else. And again, it was a pleasure having you on. Hey guys, if you're not subscribed, subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. Hit that like, hit that share. It really helps boost our algorithm and gets this message out to other people. And we'll see you soon.
Appreciate you.